I need to tell you something that's been eating at me for months. Last week, I stood in a Chipotle line for 11 minutes, watched them give me what looked like a toddler-sized portion of rice, got charged $15.87 for a bowl that didn't fill me up, and on the drive home, I had this thought that I couldn't shake. When did I become the person who pays $16 for a burrito and just accepts it? And then I realized something worse. I'm not the person who accepts it anymore. None of us are. That's why 17 major restaurant chains are either bankrupt, closing hundreds of stores, or drowning in debt right now as I'm recording this in January 2026. But here's what made me make this video. They're lying about why it's happening. Every earnings call, every press release, same excuse. Challenging macroeconomic conditions, evolving consumer preferences, market headwinds. That's corporate speak for, please don't notice what we actually did to you. I noticed, and I'm about to break it down in a way that's going to make you never look at these places the same way again. Let me start with a question, and I need you to actually think about your answer. How many times in the last month did you think about eating out, check the prices on DoorDash or a menu, and then just close the app and make something at home? Be honest. Once? Twice? Every single day? That's not you being cheap. That's not you being difficult. That's your brain doing exactly what it should do, recognizing when something isn't worth it anymore. And right now, millions of Americans are having that same realization at the exact same time. It's not coordinated. Nobody sent a memo. But somehow, collectively, we all woke up and said, wait, why am I paying this much for this? The restaurant industry is calling it demand softening. I'm calling it what it actually is, trust breaking. Because here's the truth they don't want you thinking about. Between 2020 and 2026, restaurant prices went up 47%. 47%. Your salary? Maybe 12 to 15% if you're lucky? Let me make that personal. That Chipotle bowl that cost you $7.25 in 2019? It's $13.50 now in most cities. January 2026, that's the current average. Starbucks latte was $3.65. Now it's pushing $6.50 for a tall, $8.20 if you want any customization. But it's not just the prices. They're giving you less food, cutting corners on ingredients, understaffing locations so service is slower, and then acting confused when you stop coming. You're not confused though, are you? You saw it happening in real time. You just didn't know if anyone else noticed. Everyone noticed. Let me tell you about May 19, 2024. Red Lobster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and shut down 93 locations in a single day. 93. The filing showed $1.2 billion in liabilities. Over $1 billion in debt from a seafood chain. You want to know the actual reason they collapsed? The thing that broke them? Endless Shrimp. You remember that promotion. Come in, pay $12.99. Eat as much shrimp as you want. Sounded amazing, and customers took them seriously. People were eating $30 to $35 worth of shrimp and paying $12.99. Every single customer lost them money. But instead of stopping, they doubled down because the promotion was bringing people in. They chose foot traffic over profit and bankrupted themselves in the process. That's not bad luck. That's executive incompetence so staggering it should be taught in business schools as what not to do. Boston Market, at their peak in the late 90s, 1,100 locations. Right now, January 2026, there are fewer than 30 locations left. The ones still open have lawsuits from suppliers, unpaid utility bills, and employees who haven't seen a paycheck in weeks. Some locations got physically padlocked by landlords while employees were mid-shift. This wasn't a decline, it was an abandonment. Tijuana Flats, 40 locations closed overnight. Bankruptcy filing, $19 million in debt. Employees showed up for work to find the doors chained. No warning, no severance, just locked out. And here's the part that should make you angry. These companies saw it coming. The data was there. Customer complaints were everywhere. Social media was full of people saying, the portions are smaller, the prices are insane, I'm not coming back. They saw it and decided you'd keep paying anyway. They were wrong. Cracker Barrel, August 2025. This one's almost funny if it wasn't so expensive. They spent $700 million on a modernization plan. Part of that was a logo redesign. They removed the iconic old-timer character and went with a minimalist design that looked like a Silicon Valley app. The backlash was so severe the stock dropped 9% in 4 days. Social media exploded. Trump tweeted about it. Customers threatened boycotts. 7 days later, they reversed everything. 7 days. $700 million wasted because someone thought the problem was nostalgia, instead of realizing nostalgia was the entire point. Starbucks brought in Brian Niccol in late 2024 with a $113 million compensation package. The plan: spend $1 billion restructuring, cut 900 corporate jobs, restore the cafe experience. By December 2025, the stock was down 7% from when he started. Same-store sales growth was weak. Foot traffic was still declining. Because you can't fix an $8 latte problem by making the chairs more comfortable. When your product is too expensive for your core customer, redecorating doesn't solve it. I'm going to say something that might sound harsh, but I need you to hear it. These companies didn't fail because of external forces. They failed because they got greedy and thought you wouldn't notice. During COVID, everyone understood prices had to go up. Supply chains were broken, labor was expensive. Nobody complained about a 10 to 15% increase. That made sense. But then something else happened. They realized they could keep raising prices, and you kept paying, so they kept going. 20%, 30%, 40% increases. Portions got smaller, quality dropped, service got worse. And every quarter, when executives presented earnings, they celebrated margin expansion. You know what margin expansion means? It means they figured out how to charge you more while giving you less. That's not business strategy. That's exploitation. Let me show you how personal this gets. Sweetgreen, the $18 salad chain. In Q2 2025, same-store sales dropped 9.8%. The stock crashed. And on Reddit and Twitter, people started posting receipts. $21.67 for a bowl with lettuce, chicken, and vinaigrette. One person captioned it, "This is why I can't save money." That tweet got 67,000 likes because everyone felt it in their soul. Or Chipotle. There's literally a subreddit called r/Chipotle, where thousands of people post pictures comparing portion sizes. 2019 bowls versus 2026 bowls. Same price. Dramatically less food. Chipotle's response? Portion sizes haven't changed. That's a direct quote from their Q3 2025 earnings call. You can see the evidence with your own eyes, and they're still denying it. That's not just bad business. That's insulting. Here's what really gets me. These companies built their brands on trust. Starbucks was your morning ritual. Chipotle was your healthy fast option. Red Lobster was your family celebration spot. TGI Fridays was your Friday tradition. Those weren't just transactions. Those were relationships, and they torched those relationships for short-term profit. And now they're shocked you left. There's a pattern here that goes beyond restaurants, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every single one of these companies made the same mistake. They optimized for shareholders instead of customers. Starbucks cut labor costs, so lines got longer and drinks took forever. But labor costs went down, so Wall Street was happy. Chipotle reduced portion sizes to improve margins. Customers complained, but profit per bowl went up, so investors cheered. Red Lobster ran a promotion that lost money on every transaction, but foot traffic looked good in quarterly reports, so executives kept their bonuses. Do you see what happened? They made decisions that looked good on spreadsheets but destroyed the actual customer experience. And they kept doing it until there were no customers left to extract value from. This is happening everywhere. Shrinkflation at grocery stores. Subscription services that keep raising prices. Streaming platforms removing features. Software companies switching to rental models. It's the same playbook. Take something people love, slowly make it worse while charging more, and hope they don't notice until you've extracted maximum value. But here's the thing about that strategy. It only works if people don't compare notes, and the internet made comparing notes instant. One person tweets, "Did Chipotle shrink their portions?" 5,000 people reply, "I thought I was crazy." Suddenly, it's not paranoia, it's confirmed. One TikTok about Starbucks prices gets 2 million views, and everyone in the comments is sharing their breaking point stories. The strategy falls apart when everyone realizes it's happening to all of us. I want to tell you something, and I need you to really hear this. If you've been feeling guilty about eating out less, if you've been thinking you're failing because you can't afford the same restaurants you used to go to, if you've been wondering what's wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. You're responding rationally to an irrational situation. When a burrito costs $16 and doesn't fill you up, the correct response is to stop buying it. When coffee costs $8.50 and you can make it at home for 40 cents, the correct response is to buy a coffee maker. When a family dinner costs $120 before tip, the correct response is to cook at home. You're not cheap. You're not being difficult. Your budget didn't fail. They failed you. And I'm telling you this because these companies have spent millions on marketing to make you feel like the problem is you. Like you're not treating yourself enough. Like you're being too frugal. Like you should splurge because you deserve it. That's manipulation. And it's time to call it what it is. You don't deserve a $16 burrito with a thimble of guacamole. You deserve reasonable prices for good food. And when that's not available, you deserve to walk away without guilt. Here's what I've learned in the last 3 weeks researching this. Every single person I talk to has the same story. I used to go there all the time. Then one day I looked at the price and just stopped. Nobody planned it. Nobody made a dramatic announcement. They just quietly started saying no. And collectively, those quiet no's are collapsing billion-dollar companies. That's not market forces. That's power. Your power. So what happens now? Some of these chains will survive. They'll adjust. They'll lower prices, fix portions. Remember what made them special in the first place. Chipotle is already talking about refocusing on value. Starbucks is testing lower-priced options. Others won't make it. Boston Market is functionally dead. Red Lobster is on life support. Tijuana Flats is gone. And honestly, that's how it should work. Companies that take their customers for granted should fail. That's capitalism functioning correctly. But here's my prediction. More are coming. Way more. Because the fundamental equation hasn't changed. Middle-class Americans are stretched thinner than ever. Real wages haven't kept pace with cost of living. And restaurants keep pricing like it's 2019. The breaking point isn't coming. It already happened. We're watching the aftermath. And here's what I want you to take from this. You don't owe these companies anything. Not your loyalty, not your money, not your guilt. If Chipotle shrinks portions, stop going. If Starbucks charges $8 for coffee, make it at home. If your favorite restaurant isn't worth it anymore, find somewhere that is. Your wallet is telling you something important. Listen to it. Look, I'm going to be straight with you about why I made this video. It's not because I love talking about restaurant bankruptcies. It's because 3 weeks ago, I was standing in that Chipotle line, and I felt something I hadn't felt before. Stupid. Stupid for paying $16 for food that wasn't worth it. Stupid for not noticing sooner. Stupid for thinking it was just me. And then I started digging, and I realized it wasn't just me. It was millions of people having the exact same experience at the exact same time. All of us thinking we were alone. We're not alone. This video is for everyone who's been doing mental math before ordering, for everyone who's closed the DoorDash app and made pasta instead, for everyone who remembers when eating out was easy and fun and didn't require a family budget meeting. You're not broken. The system is broken, and you're responding correctly. So here's what I need from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me, what was your breaking point? What restaurant did you used to love that you've completely stopped going to? And what was the exact moment you realized you were done? I'm reading every single comment because I want to know your story. If this video helped you understand why eating out feels impossible now, hit subscribe. I'm making videos about the corporate decisions that affect your daily life, the stuff everyone feels but nobody explains. And most importantly, stop feeling guilty. You didn't fail. They did. Your money, your choice, your power. I'll see you in the next one.